A kid kept kicking my house for months, and I finally caught him and told on him to his mother. So my husband and I kept hearing a bang in the evening at random hours, between about 6 to 10 p.m. He would wake us up sometime or get our dogs going crazy. We had no idea what it was. I even called out a plumber since we have had some plumbing issues in the past and didn't know what else it could be. Finally, the Ring camera caught something. A young boy, probably between 8 to 11, was running up and kicking our house, like hard. This bang was so loud I thought it was our trash cans knocking into the house or a bad plumbing issue. But a goddamn kid deciding to do karate kicks and outrun my Ring camera was not what I expected. Okay, so I decided to do a few things. Put up a motion light, which I almost fell off a ladder doing and broke another light in the process. Between this and the plumber coming out, I'm in about $200 because of this fucker. Second, I wrote a note and taped it to the glass. He seemed tall enough to read. The note said, "To the child kicking our door, we know who you are. We have you on camera every time. We told your parents. We will contact the police next time. Please stop scaring our dogs. I'm bluffing because I want him to stop. I cannot figure out his motive except to cause chaos in my household, so I needed to try to scare him. So last 2 weeks, nothing. I figured my note and light worked and the fucker was scared. I took the note down last night. Then tonight, boom. The loudest one yet. What the fuck? I go outside because I'm mad now, and I see a children's mermaid kickball in my front yard. I'm keeping it. The fucker kicked it into my car. I see no kids. I'm so angry. I kick the ball into my fenced-in backyard and go back inside. About 30 minutes goes by and I hear another bang. I look out the window and I see this little bastard running down the street laughing. I am furious. I'm about the size of Sydney Sweeney if she was also an Adam Sandler type woman. I'm wearing cute polka dot Victoria's Secret PJs and I just did my everything shower with an at-home blowout. I'm in NO mood. I push my husband out of the way and put on my running sneakers with no socks. I book it down the street and I see the little shit stain run inside a house. I run up the driveway and kindly question some younger girls, his sisters, to find out where his parents were. They said his mom was in the backyard. I went back there and told her straight up, "Your son has been kicking my house for 2 months. I have it on video. He's scaring my dogs. Ask him to stop." She said okay and thank you. I said thank you and left. As I walked home, I see my husband running up to me because he didn't know where I went. I told him I handled it. Then, as if on cue, I hear the loud whining of what sounded like a young boy between 8 to 11 finally getting justice served. I've never met this kid in my life. I want to know why. Why did he target us? Did I wrong him? Or was he just a random crazy kid? Sometimes life is chaos. Update. This shit is called the Door Kick Challenge on TikTok. Thank you to the comment who said their HOA mentioned it in their newsletter. For once, I don't have the urge to fist fight the HOA. Also, thank you everyone for the validation of my evening child chase down. After living here for a few years, defending my land from a tiny trespasser really transformed me into a homeowner, rather than feeling like just a kid that owns a home. Sometimes the power of the internet community can be a beautiful thing. Comment. One winter I was driving my tow truck, AAA, in a neighborhood right after a major snowstorm. So I was being careful and focusing on the road. My window was down a bit to help with fogging, old truck. Some kids thought it would be hilarious to throw snowballs at my truck as I drove by. One of them hit the top of my window and sprayed me with snow and ice. I jammed the brakes, almost got in a wreck, jumped out and started running after the little shits. They ran into a house and I followed, knocked on the door, and was greeted by a giant lumberjack-looking dude. I explained what happened and how it nearly caused a wreck. "How do you know it was my boys?" I told him that I chased them to this house. He nodded and said to wait a minute. He went inside and came back dragging 2 8-year-old kids by their collars. "These two." I nodded. He said, "Thank you. I'll take care of it." The kids looked like they were going to shit themselves. They have the day off from school. I think they'll spend it shoveling out our driveway, and then the neighbors' driveways, since they like the snow so much. There was much wailing, and all I could do was laugh. My last sight of them as I drove away was the kids trudging back down the driveway, each with a shovel, looking miserable. OP reply, another chase for the win. Comment, that sounds familiar. A friend of mine used to have stones thrown at his house windows. Each time he looked out, no one was there. One evening he sat in his garden when bang, a stone hits the window. My friend is up, and after the little kid as he runs off, my friend chasing him back to his house. He watches as the kid goes inside, so my friend gave it 5 minutes. Goes up to the house and knocks, and this big burly man appears. My friend kindly explained to him everything, so this guy shouts for his kid to come to the door. They ask him if he's been throwing stones, and he replied, yes. Think his father gave him a good telling off, as my friend heard yelling as he walked away. What I find funny or not so funny is that this kid's dad used to bully me at school. Once my friend told me this story. Comment, thank goodness the mother recognized that her kid was wrong here. So many parents would have turned on you and started yelling at you to leave their precious baby alone. That little Johnny Shitstain would never do anything like that. Save the Ring videos though, just in case mother's wrath isn't enough to control the brat. Damage to your house and car on camera should be plenty to get the police involved if it comes to that. OP reply, I was so afraid of that TBH. I had nothing on me and I didn't know who I was encountering. My husband was following me up the street, thankfully, and he's a big, intimidating man. Great point though. Comment, yeah. A lot of times parents leap to defend their kid from attacks, so it all depends how you approach them. Lots of people come with anger and then get surprised when they meet with defensive parents. If you come criticizing the action, not the child, and explain yourself clearly, you normally get a better action. Also, a lot of parents defend in public but then punish in private. Comment, years ago, my daughter was bullied by a couple of nasty, manipulative neighbor kids. I walked across the street and knocked on their door. Dad nodded his head and assured it was my daughter's fault with a smirk. I explained that she was skilled in Taekwondo and that I had authorized her to defend herself in whatever way she thought necessary should his kids engage in any other harassment. Then we'd have a group hug with the police. Calm down quite a bit. Asshole family. To a person. Comment. We had some neighbors 2 doors down who had an above-ground pool in their backyard, and during the summer their kids would have loud pool parties till 3 a.m., completely in violation of noise ordinances, but they'd quiet down whenever the police came by, and this was the summer my city decided to stop enforcing noise violations because the police were lazy. We told them to stop making noise, complained to our counselor, etc. In retaliation, they egged our house and stole our garden trellis. Unfortunately for them, they underestimated just how petty and vindictive an adult with disposable income can get. Because I egged them back once a week for the next 4 years, they lived there with the most disgusting, rotting, rancid eggs I could make. Bought a fresh carton of eggs every week and left sitting in the sun until they got nice and rancid. Eventually, their parents came over to tell me that my kids were egging their house and demand I do something about it. Me, you first. Comment. Back in the day, we had some neighborhood kids always causing trouble. They came and broke all the windows on the side of my parents' house in the middle of the night. Unknown to me at the time, my dad set up tripwires down the side of a neighbor's house where the kids could get back to their house fast. Well, at nighttime, they couldn't see those wires, and one of the kids broke his arm and the other kid messed up their leg. You didn't see them much anymore after that. Comment. In 2020, some kids took a marker and drew on my front door. Stick figure of someone being hung and then wrote, I'm gonna burn your house down, and this is gonna be you. After talking to neighbors, we figured out who it was, and when I told the parent, he was pissed. Kids were only 5 and 8, but they made my 6 and 10-year-old scared. Thankfully, our front door is white and 2 coats of paint later can no longer see it. Kids need to learn that this kind of stuff is not right. Please leave your story in the comments. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to get new update. Thank you.